In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how I manifested my partner. I've had a lot of toxic relationships over the past couple of years, and I've always wanted to find the right person. But for some reason, I kept going back to these unhealthy patterns and relationships and partners. So I'm a very emotional and, I used to be insecure and I would attract partners that are emotionally handicapped who don't really have space for me. And the last one was the narcissist. So you get the type, but usually when we're the opposites, we do attract each other. So I was like, I really want to find the right person. And I could see that I was always stuck in these relationships. And every time I was thinking it was the right person, so I was putting all my hopes up. And then I was realizing that I was not treated right, I was not respected, I was not, emotionally, I was always with partners that were emotionally unavailable. And so what I've done is that I have decided. So last year in May, my brother got married. And by the way, I got the bouquet from the bride. So I was like, okay, this is, the moment I'm going to set an intention. By the way, I was not spiritual at all back then. I had a spiritual awakening a couple of weeks ago, so I got very spiritual since then. But back then, I was not spiritual at all. But what happened is so I had like 5 different relationships that were quite toxic and very, very painful breakups because obviously I didn't want to leave the relationships. I was always willing to take it as far as I could. And I've always wanted to get married, have kids, all of that. I didn't want to go through all this pain, right, of having to break up because that's the most horrible pain ever. And so I've really set an intention at my brother's wedding. It was on the 11th of May last year. When I got the bouquet, I was like, okay, I see the pattern. I'm 26 now. No, I was 25. I'm 25 now, and I don't want to end my whole life alone or end up with the wrong person. I want to change myself. So I set an intention. I said, universe, okay, I'm ready now. I'm going to find the right person by changing myself. So that was the first thing, was really like an intention. Then I got into another toxic relationship over the summer, but that was the last one. And what I've done after that is so it's when I came here actually, and I got this flat in Lyon. And I have literally written down. I had done this before, but I had not applied it. Now I've written down exactly what it is that I want in a partner. And yeah, I've got it here. If you want, I can send it to you. So, what I've also done is I've written down all my partners, my exes, sorry, my exes' names and everything I liked and didn't like about them. I literally, like, people around me were laughing when I did all this because like my friends and my family, they were like, "Oh, you're managing this like a business owner." I was like, "Yes, I am. Of course, I want to find the right person." Um, so yeah, I've written down all my exes' names and I've put what I liked and didn't like in them so I could get to know myself and what it is that I want in my life partner. Once I've done that, I've written down my core values. So my personal core values that has nothing to deal with him. Because like the process of, getting to know yourself and getting to change yourself to find the right person is a lot of, you know, getting to find who you are, what you need, what your needs are, getting to know yourself so you can actually, know that you need this and tell the universe that you need, or God, or whatever you believe in, whatever you need, right? So my core values, I've written 15 core values. ChatGPT helped me. You can use this. ChatGPT is great. I voice note ChatGPT and then it replies to me. So that's what I've done. I've written down my core values. So what is important to me, right? Then I've written down my shared core values. So the core values that I want to share with my partner. I literally visualized myself. I pictured my perfect partner and I was like, I'm waiting for you. I'm ready for you. And by the way, I also wrote a song for my partner. I wrote a song a couple of years ago, but I wasn't ready to meet him yet. But now I made him listen to the song. Anyway, so yeah, I've written down my shared core values. So for example, there's the first one, emotional support and availability, right? Mutual respect and communication, family and children, shared life goals and flexibility, physical intimacy and affection, respect for independence and space, personal growth and self improvement, work life balance, financial compatibility and responsibility, adventurous spirit and new experiences, respect for household roles and equality, spirituality and shared beliefs, social connections and friendships, and then romantic gestures and affectionate acts. And then the last one is long term commitment, compatibility, of course. I'm not going to tell you everything of everything I've written down, but like that's just an idea for you. You can write your shared core values, like what kind of values are important to share with your ideal partner, right? That's very important. Um, because once I wrote this down, every time I was dating a guy, I could see that, like I could see that this guy was not into self improvement or personal growth. I was like, no, thanks. And so I put that boundary, right? But like this work was literally before I even started dating again, just like to figure out what I really wanted. Then the next thing I've written down is my personal needs. So what do I need? I've written down 16 things here. It's kind of similar to the values, but like, yeah, you can do it. It's fun. The next thing I've written down is my deal breakers. What are the things that are not tolerable for me in a man, for a relationship. Like for example, I've written down that my lifestyle choices, like smoking, drinking, or drugs. I mean, drinking is okay, but like heavy drinking or any addictions for me, it's not okay because, yeah, not okay. Um, and so I've written down literally what are your deal breakers. And I really advise you to do this when you are not dating because it will be altered to the person you're dating if you do it whilst you're dating. So, yeah, writing deal breakers is a great thing as well. So that you can literally, So what happened is one of the guy so I was on this app, right? That's how I met my partner, by the way. I met him on an app, but like before him, I was talking to a couple of guys, and one guy I was talking to was smoking weed, and I could see it on his profile. And then I said to myself, like, why do you even talk to him? You wrote down that this is not okay for you, right? It's like I really figured out that if I wanted a long-term relationship, I couldn't just act as if I was looking for a hookup, like, or just a 2 months relationship. Like, I wrote down exactly what I needed for a life partner, and I said I'm going to respect that. And anybody who doesn't match everything, bye bye. Like, I'd rather be alone. And I applied this, and it was the first ever time. That was a couple of months before I met my partner. And it was the first ever time in my life where I said no, and it actually sent a message to the universe saying, okay, she's ready now, So I've written so many things, like 12 deal breakers, lack of ambition, drive, dishonesty, lack of transparency, poor hygiene. Sorry, I can't. Yeah, so there you go. This is what I've written down some affirmations and stuff, but I haven't done much visualization, to be honest. Just a little bit maybe, but like the biggest thing I've done is this, like what I've just said to you here. And how I manifested it was literally writing. In the morning, I would write, I'm so grateful for my partner, and I made the promise to myself that anybody who I date and that doesn't match every single thing that I've written here, I cut them out. And I had to cut a couple of people out that before I wouldn't have cut them out because, we tend to think, oh, I'd rather be with someone who doesn't match who I want fully rather than being alone. That's what we think. We're like, oh, it's better to be with a guy that doesn't, tick all the boxes rather than being alone. No, wrong. It's better to be alone rather than a guy that has 13 out of 14 of your criterias. Like it is very important that like it's not just you and the guys you're dating or the women you're dating, it's you, the people you're dating, and the universe. The universe is watching you, is literally watching you, is literally watching everything you do. So like not only saying to yourself or writing down what do you want in a partner, like what do you need, what are your needs, personal needs, shared needs, what are your deal breakers, what are the things that are not okay for you, and then every time you meet a potential, a guy that you like, if this is not 100% matching to the person that you have in front of you, cut them out, because you are looking for a life partner if you're watching this video, or maybe you're just curious, which is fine too. um, but yeah, that is very important. And so what happened is that after saying no to a few guys, just be like, no, I'm not interested, thanks, I was scared. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna end up alone because I'm saying no to everyone, even though it was not that many guys. Like he, and so yeah, my point is that my partner arrived when I was the least expecting it. It's always like that, right? But it was the moment where, so for my whole life, I've wanted to have a partner. I was focused on this. This was like my biggest dream, was to have a partner, a healthy relationship. You know, I was obsessed about this, right? I would put this before anything else, even before myself. And now I think it's the first time in my life where I was so focused on creating a business. I was so focused on my friends and building a life in Lyon. And I was just like, you know, well, if he comes now, that's good. But I was not, you know, available. And it's really funny because the moment we got in touch, I was literally so sick of this app. It's Hinge, by the way. Um, I was just, it's a great app, right? But I had so many likes and stuff, and I was just like tired because you know what changed? Is that I realized that the dating process was actually like hiring someone for your company. It is like this. If you're looking for a life partner, you can't just listen to your feelings and be like, oh, I like this guy, I'm gonna see him again. No, like write your stuff beforehand. If this person matches exactly what you've said, then you can see them again. But I understood I couldn't listen to just the way I felt, and so I was like, okay, it's a lot less fun in a way when you're looking for the right person, because if you just let yourself be driven by your feelings, it's like, oh, I like it, you know. But once you have everything written down, it's like, okay, I need to use my brain and not my heart, right? Because for me, I've always ended up in toxic relationships because I listened to my heart. I was like, oh, I feel attracted to that person, but I didn't use my brain to figure out would they be a great life partner. And this is really the thing that has changed for me. And yeah, using your brain and then opening your heart to the right person. And then when I realized he was the right person, I mean, it's just been a couple of months, but like we pretty much both know that we're good. um, yeah. So also, it's very important to work on yourself. This is one thing I've done as well. Is, you know, you can't expect another person to fulfill you. I've always had addictions, and I was also looking for men for like relationships where I could literally escape from my harsh feelings. Every time I ended up in toxic relationships is because I was so feeling so bad in my life, so insecure, so feeling so unworthy, and I was trying to find someone to you know, to escape and to have some great time with, right? If it's this, if you're not 100% happy on your own, it's not, you know, you're not going to pick the right person, because you need to come from a good place, right? It's like when you make an important decision, you don't want to make it when you're desperate. You want to make it when you're feeling good and good with yourself, right? um this is how I manifested my partner. um he somehow wrote as well that he wanted to meet me in 2025. And writing is very powerful. Visualizing is very powerful. Literally imagine, you can imagine you with your perfect partner on the beach, or, you know, in your new house or whatever. Like imagine it in your mind and it will create it in your reality. But you need to be very clear on what you want. Like for so long, I wanted a long-term relationship, but I was acting like I wanted a one night stand. Do you see what I mean? It was like I was listening to my heart and just be like, oh, okay, let's hang out, you know, even though I knew that, you know, this guy was smoking and he was taking drugs or whatever, you know, and I knew that he would not be the great father for my children, and I would not get married to that person, and I would not want to end my days with him. But I just didn't want to be alone, and I just let myself enjoy the comfort of the moment. And this is something I've literally let go of um, when I've decided to find the right person. So I hope that helps. Feel free to let me know in the comments where you're at in your love journey, and if you have any experiences, if you have related to anything that I've said. Feel free to book a free call with me. Just down below, there's a link if you want to chat with me, and maybe I can help you on finding the right person, finding your purpose, you know, and changing yourself for the better. You can also subscribe to my channel and like this video and share it with your friends if you think they might find it helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I'm very grateful for you, and I will see you tomorrow for the next video. Thank you. Bye.